Vaidehi Joshi at last. She explains in her Basics podcast the science behind what computers mind. So let's all of us have a blast.
Just gonna move this. Good morning, RustFest. All right, okay. I know I'm the first one this morning. Maybe you haven't had your coffee. It's still early, but I'm gonna need a little bit more energy. Not for my sake, but also for yours. This talk will just be so much better if there's more energy in the room. So, good morning, RustFest.
Good morning.
So much better. Hello, my name is Vaidehi. Thank you so much for that introduction, by the way. That is the first time anybody has turned my name into a limerick. I didn't think it could be done, so that's very exciting. You've set the bar very high. Now I might have to just start requesting all my introductions have limericks in them. So I am super excited to be here. This is my very first RustFest. It's my second time in Paris. I still don't really know very much French aside from like croissant and fromage. I hope I'm saying all these words right. I'm sorry if I'm not. I am an engineer that works at a company called Tilda, based in Portland, Oregon. And I work on a product called Skylight, which is your favorite Rails profiler. So if you work in Rails by any chance, yeah, cool. I wasn't sure about this audience, but that's great. You should check us out. Fun fact, Tilda was actually one of the first companies and the earliest adopters to use Rust in production. And we use Rust in our Skylight agent, and we love it. So, highly recommend, but probably this audience is already on board, so. But when I'm not working on Skylight, I spend a lot of my free time doing something else. I really, really love learning new things. And last year, I decided to kind of take this hobby that I have of learning new things to a whole new level, and I decided to learn something completely new. I decided to learn the fundamentals of computer science. And this was a particularly scary task for me because I don't have a CS degree, nor do I know very many things about computer science concepts. My background is actually in literature and education. So it was scary because I didn't know where to begin. But I started this project called Base CS, and it was a weekly blog series with a pretty simple goal. My goal was that I was going to learn one computer science topic and write a blog post about it every single week for a whole year, which that's like 52 blog posts times like who knows how many hours, so that's some complicated math that I haven't done, so feel free to do it. Good luck. And I actually did end up accomplishing this goal. I spent a whole year basically teaching myself computer science fundamentals and kind of creating a computer science curricula for myself. And yes, to answer your question, that all of you I'm sure are thinking, it was a very, very long year. And to tell you the truth, sometimes learning CS, as someone without a CS background, was really, really fun. Sometimes it felt super empowering because I was finally liberated as I finally understood all of these terms and concepts that people would use in conversation and that I didn't understand. And it was really amazing to finally have that light bulb moment when that concept clicked. Especially when it was a concept that I had been super intimidated by, like linked lists or graph theory. But the other side of the story, one that I'm not always super keen on sharing, but I will share with all of you today, is that a lot of the time, learning was really, really hard. And I didn't talk about it a lot during the course of that year because I didn't want other people to feel disheartened in their own learning. But it was this omnipresent feeling of being intimidated and just feeling very daunted by all these things that I wanted to learn but didn't really know how. Honestly, the harder the topics got, the harder it was to find approachable resources that I could really make sense of. So this is a tweet from one afternoon about a year ago when I was feeling really, really helpless. I was trying to learn about a topic called radix trees. If you've ever tried to learn them, if you Google it, it might be a little scary because you find a lot of papers that use calculus, which I don't know why everybody has to explain it like that. But needless to say, it was very, very hard to learn this concept for me. And this was like over a year of learning CS that I, hit this wall again and again and again. And the meme that I'm actually referring to in this tweet is the owl meme, which, if you're not familiar with, is this. And I actually think, as I've been talking to a lot of engineers, I don't even think it's just CS that kind of feels like this. I think it's just learning any new concept, especially when you have very little context for it, can feel like this. So I wasn't really alone in that. But I think the most frustrating part of the whole process was finding resources like CS papers or curricula from MIT or lecture videos, but not really being able to make sense of what these resources were trying to communicate to me. A lot of the times I would